Hey there, it's MikeMoore here. I've got something serious to talk about this week, but before I get into it, I'm going to talk about what's going on with this video and where it's going to be. This video is going to be on the Nexus mod page for the factory mod. You probably already know this if you're finding it on there. And it's going to be an open request to anybody that finds the page or watches this video. I've been thinking about what path to go down for the factory mod for the last couple weeks, and that's why I didn't release a video last week. The factory mod is now released as a modder's resource on the Nexus, and anyone that wishes to work on the file can. It wasn't an easy decision to come to, but it was between that and just putting the project on hold until further notice and just working on it myself, and I felt like that was really unfair to everybody that's been wanting the mod. The question you might have now is, well, why don't you just keep working on the mod and finish it? I'll answer that in a minute, but because it's going to be a really long, complicated answer, I want to first go over something else. I want to make it really easy for anybody that wishes to expand on this mod or complete it or just work on it, to work on it together with anyone else that has an interest in doing the same thing. So what I've done is I've created a public Discord server for anybody that wants to come together and chat about what they want to do or what they have done or what they're working on at the time. And I want to make this abundantly clear, okay? This chat is not for idea people. It is not for people that just want to add this or want to see this happen. This is going to be a chat geared towards creating things and productivity, not giving people ideas, okay? Genos and I already have ideas coming out the pores on our ass cheeks. We do not need anybody else giving us ideas and coming into this chat just spamming it with ideas. Along with the Discord chat, I provided a Google Doc with a list of things that we planned on creating or adding or modeling, so if you don't have any ideas yourself, you can just go there and start working on those things. This is open to anybody that wants to see it, not just people in the chat. Lastly, you do not have to work with anybody on this. If you have the willpower and the desire to finish this mod by yourself, you are a better man than me, and all power to you. You may upload this without my permission, using any and all of the assets included on the Nexus page that I've uploaded. So as for why I'm not working on it, like I said before, it's complicated. When I started Fallout modding, it was to stretch my creative appendages, and because I respected people like Eleonora and Gopher and Hoth Trooper and all the other modders that made our Bethesda gaming experience so good compared to what the original game was, what it is today. Since then, I've created a lot of weapons along with some miscellaneous other things that I'm really happy with, regardless of how I feel about modding as a whole now. However, as time progressed, my excitement and feelings towards Fallout grew pretty stale. I started to see how convoluted the modding process is, how cliquey and sometimes even aggressive the modding community is, and overall just the sheer amount of effort that is needed for such a small amount of product. Now, Fallout modding is hard. Many of you know that, many modders know that, but a lot of people like that. People like the challenge and the feeling of expanding on something that they love. And expanding on something you love, I'd like to think, is why the Skyrim modding scene is so huge. And I'd also like to think that's why the Fallout modding scene is as it is today, but I'm not so sure about that. People still love Skyrim, and I think it's an amazing game despite all its bugs and shortcomings. That's kind of what makes the game the game. But Fallout is different. From the get-go, I was aware that Fallout kind of fell short from the previous Bethesda games, and you could argue that the story in Fallout 4 is no worse than Fallout 3 was, and all kinds of things that compare Fallout 4 to other Fallout games, and you'd be correct in saying those things, right? It's not the story, and certainly not the gameplay, because you're not going to get a solid argument out of anybody that thinks Fallout 4's gameplay is bad. The gameplay is really fun in Fallout 4, and that's probably why I stuck with it so long, right? Because it was fun to play. But the phrase, wide as an ocean and deep as a puddle, is often thrown around in circles discussing Fallout and Skyrim, but I don't feel it really covers it completely for Fallout. Although Fallout may be shallow, it is not wide. I don't want to get into Fallout's rating as a game, because smarter, more reliable people than I have made better points, and will make better points than I ever could, so I'll just say this. Modding a game requires passion. Passion for that game that you're modding, because it sure as hell isn't easy. And Fallout 4 no longer warrants any passion from me. I don't have a love for modding anymore, and as I've taken a couple days or a week to step back from modding in the Fallout community, I've realized that modding held a really heavy obligation and sadness over me. It's something that no hobby or job should ever hold over you. I was growing to be unhappy, snarky, and unfriendly towards my friends, unable to take jokes that were made around me or enjoy talking to you guys, which is one of the best things about having a YouTube channel that I like to do. Stepping back from modding and trying something new made me realize just how difficult the process of modding Fallout is compared to just creating a game, even. It was my first endeavor into game development, as many of you know. We all remember the Dideo, bless its little soul. Since I've taken my break, I've dabbled in a couple other things, making animations, coding basic engine stuff, modeling for the sake of modeling, and though I don't have any specifics that I can share with you, I really enjoyed not having to jump through 18 hoops to create something. I enjoyed the process of content creation, not being a constant struggle to find the correct conversion method, or worrying about creation kit crashing, or having another person ask, will this be on Xbox? When you're creating something in any context, you shouldn't hate it. You should be excited about it every step of the way. You should want to create something because you love to create that thing. So, with that said, let this be a warning to anyone considering making mods for Fallout in the future, although I and many others have tutorials on YouTube making that process easier to ease into. Please ask yourself if you really want to commit to the idea of making something for a company that doesn't care about you, a community that doesn't respect you, and a game that really honestly doesn't support you. It is with this that I have to apologize and tell you for real, no jokes, no Casey Neistat, I'm canceling the vlog. I'm quitting Fallout modding. If you're a supporter on Patreon and you're supporting my Fallout mods, you can unsubscribe without regret. If you're a subscriber only for mod updates and Fallout stuff, feel free to unsubscribe, I won't hold that against you. However, if you're really here for me instead of just my mods, I'm not quitting YouTube and I'm not quitting content creation. I've said earlier that I've stepped back and I've started creating other things, and I wasn't fucking around when I said that. I wasn't talking about modding another game or anything like that. I'll be creating videos as soon as I have enough content to show you guys, but until then, we'll just have to see what happens. So, thank you for everything, especially sitting here and listening to this. I'm not going away. I'll be back every Friday just like I normally am, other than last week. And it won't be a mod update anymore. That's going to be the only difference. So, as always, thank you all for sticking around, and you have yourself a fantastic rest of your week. Later days.